A lot of gun owners are going to sell the wrong revolver in 2026, and some will not understand the mistake until it is too late. By then, the price is higher, the paperwork is worse, and the gun they trusted for years is sitting in somebody else's safe. So let me say this right up front. If you own one of the revolvers on this list, think very hard before you let it go. Because in many places, replacing a good revolver is harder, slower, and more expensive than people expect. Quick question before we continue. Are you subscribed yet? If not, fix that now, because this channel is built for people who want straight talk on guns, ownership, and the rules that can trip you up when you least expect it. Now, when I say smart owners refuse to sell these revolvers, I do not mean every single person should keep every wheel gun forever. If you need rent money, medical money, or you simply hate a gun, that is different. But most people who regret a revolver sale all say the same thing later. They say, I thought I could always buy another one. That is the lie. In 2026, the market, local laws, waiting periods, transfer rules, and plain old scarcity can make that buy another one later plan blow up fast. Let's start with number 10, the Ruger GP100. This gun is the definition of boring reliability, and I mean that as a compliment. It is strong, easy to shoot, and built like it expects to outlive you. A lot of people sell a GP100 because they think it feels too heavy next to a polymer pistol. Then 6 months later, they remember why they trusted it. The recoil is manageable, the grip options are everywhere, and it handles .357 Magnum or .38 Special. That matters because having ammo flexibility is a big deal when shelves get weird or prices jump. Number 9 is the Smith & Wesson 686 Plus. This is one of those revolvers that wins people over slowly. The 7-shot cylinder gives you one more round than the old 6-shot pattern. And that sounds small until you actually think about it. One extra round in a revolver is not nothing. The balance is great, the trigger is usually excellent, and it works for range use, home defense, and even some field use. Here is what most people get wrong. They sell a 686 Plus because they think they are upgrading to something more modern. But modern does not always mean better for your needs. If you shoot this gun well, if you trust it, and if it fits your hand, selling it just because something new came out is usually a mistake. Number 8 is the Smith & Wesson 642 Airweight. Now this is where it gets interesting. A lot of gun owners laugh at little revolvers until they actually need something light, simple, and legal to carry within their local rules. The 642 is not fun for long-range sessions. It is not supposed to be. It is a pocketable, lightweight tool that does one job very well. In a world where some people overcomplicate carry guns, the 642 stays simple. No magazine to lose, no slide to rack, no giant footprint printing through your shirt. And before somebody in the comments loses their mind, yes, you still need to know your carry laws, prohibited places, and storage rules. A revolver does not give you a free pass, but the platform itself still makes sense for a lot of normal people. Here's a hypothetical example to explain this. Imagine you sell your 642 because you want a bigger pistol with more capacity. Then summer hits. You are wearing light clothes, running errands, and suddenly that bigger gun stays at home more often than you admit. The 642 would have gone with you, and a gun you actually carry beats the one you left in the safe because it was annoying. Number 7 is the Ruger SP101. This gun sits in that sweet spot between tiny and tank-like. It is smaller than a GP100, but sturdier than many very light snubs. That means it can handle real use without feeling disposable. Smart owners keep the SP101 because it is the kind of gun you grow into. At first, you might see it as a backup gun. Later, you realize it is one of the most practical revolvers you own. Good for glove box storage where legal, good for trail carry where legal, good for close defense, and good for people who want something simple but solid. But here's the crazy part nobody talks about enough. Revolvers like the GP100 686 Plus, 642, and SP101 also hold value in a different way. They are not just guns. They are trusted known quantities. In uncertain times, trusted tools matter more than trendy ones. If you sell one, you are not just selling steel. You are selling familiarity, confidence, and often years of practice. If this video is helping you, imagine what you'll get from the next one, where I break down the gun mistakes that turn simple police encounters into legal headaches. Subscribe now so you do not miss it, because staying informed is a lot cheaper than fixing a bad decision later. Now let's get into the revolvers people regret selling even faster, because this is the part that shocked me. Number 6 is the Colt Python. Yes, I know. Some people think the Python is all hype, but the reason smart owners refuse to sell it in 2026 is not hype. It is reputation, shootability, and replacement pain. The Python has strong brand pull, real collector interest, and a feel that many shooters love the second they pick it up. The newer ones brought the name back into regular conversation, but the older ones still have a special place with collectors. If you own one that runs well, looks good, and means something to you, think twice before cashing out. Because when people miss a Python, they miss it hard. Number 5 is the Smith & Wesson Model 19. This is one of the classic fighting revolvers in American gun culture. It carries better than many full-size revolvers, shoots well, and has that old-school balance that is hard to explain until you feel it. Here is why people regret selling the Model 19. It connects performance with history. It is not just a range toy. It is a classic that still makes sense. And in 2026, classic guns that still do real work are exactly the kind of guns people chase after they sell them. Now, quick legal note, this is educational information, not legal advice. Always consult an attorney for your specific situation. I want to add something important here. Most people think the legal risk is all about what model you buy. But the truth is, the legal risk is usually about what you do with it. Carrying in the wrong place, storing it carelessly around kids, crossing state lines without knowing the rules, or assuming your permit works everywhere, that is where people get burned. So when I say keep a great revolver, I am not telling you to ignore the law. I am saying do not create a second problem by selling a gun you trust, then rushing into a replacement you do not understand. Number 4 is the Ruger Blackhawk. Some of you may be thinking, why is a single action revolver on this list? Easy, because people who own Blackhawks usually learn one thing fast. They are more useful than they look. Strong frame, great caliber options, fun at the range, solid in the field, and full of old-school charm without being fragile. Smart owners keep them because they cover hunting, outdoors use, and pure shooting enjoyment in one package. Also, when you sell a well-set-up Blackhawk with a good barrel length and grips you love, getting that exact feel back later is harder than you think. Number 3 is the Kimber K6s. This one surprises some people, but hear me out. The K6s brought a lot of shooters back to the small revolver world by making it feel more refined. Better sights than many old snubs, strong trigger potential, solid carry size, and more shootable than people expect. Owners who sell it often do it because they are chasing capacity on paper. Then they realize the K6s gave them something different. It gave them confidence in a small package, and confidence is not easy to replace. Let me break this down for you in a simple way. There are 3 reasons people regret these sales. First, the revolver was more useful than they gave it credit for. Second, the replacement was not actually better for their life. Third, buying the same gun back later became a headache. Maybe the price jumped. Maybe the exact version dried up. Maybe local buying rules added cost and delay. Maybe they just realized the new gun never felt right. That is the lesson. Hey, 73% of people watching right now are not subscribed. Do not stay in that group. Join the people who come here for straight, simple gun talk without the nonsense. Hit subscribe now, because the next videos are built to help you stay sharp, stay legal, and avoid expensive regrets. Alright, now for the last 2, and these are big ones. Number 2 is the Colt King Cobra. This revolver lives in a strange place in the market. It has the Colt name, real style, solid performance, and enough personality to stand out from the crowd. That matters more than people admit. A lot of owners sell one thinking it is easy to replace because it is just another .357. No, it is not. The feel, the look, and the brand pull make it more memorable than the average revolver. And memorable guns are exactly the ones people go hunting for after they are gone. Now here is the part nobody talks about. Sometimes the reason to keep a revolver has nothing to do with resale value. Sometimes it is about role value. What job does it fill in your life? The King Cobra might be your range revolver, your bedside revolver, or the gun you shoot best under pressure. If that role matters, selling it because the market is hot is not always smart. Money comes and goes. Trusted tools are harder to rebuild. And number one is the Smith & Wesson Model 27. If you know, you know. This gun is the kind of revolver that makes owners smile the second they open the safe. Beautiful finish, strong build, serious history, and the kind of presence modern guns often lack. This is not just a revolver. It is a benchmark. The Model 27 is the gun many people sell only once, because after that, they spend years talking about how they should have kept it. When I found that out from owner after owner, I could not believe how often the same story came up. I needed space. I thought I wanted something else. I figured I could replace it later. And later never came the way they expected. Let me give you one final warning. Do not confuse temporary boredom with permanent wisdom. Sometimes a gun feels boring because it works, because it has been there forever, and because it never gave you drama. That is not a reason to sell it. That might be the exact reason to keep it. Laws change fast, markets move fast, and good revolvers disappear from shelves faster than many people realize. Subscribe now, because I've got more videos coming on the guns owners regret selling, the legal mistakes that follow, rushed purchases, and the smart questions you should ask before any transfer in 2026. So here is the takeaway. Smart owners do not keep these revolvers because of nostalgia alone. They keep them because they are proven, dependable, hard to replace, and often more valuable in real life than they look on paper. If you own a GP100, 686 Plus, 642, SP101, Python, Model 19, Blackhawk, K6s, King Cobra, or Model 27, slow down before you sell. Ask yourself one simple question. Am I solving a real problem, or am I creating a regret? And if this kind of content helps you think more clearly about your guns and your choices, subscribe and stick with me. I make these videos so you do not have to learn the hard way. Final simple disclaimer. Laws are different depending on where you live, and your exact situation matters. So use this as education, not personal legal advice, and talk to a qualified attorney before making any serious gun decision.